Haha! The DJI Mini 4 Pro. A while back, I released a rumors video about this new upcoming drone from the DJI, as I picked up some information about the retail box from Twitter or X or whatever it's called at the moment. So imagine the surprise when DJI wrote me the day after I released that video that they have actually shipped a unit for me. I didn't know that at the time, so that was a pretty interesting coincidence. And a lot of you have teased me how the testing was sort of going forward. And basically at the time when I was shooting that video, I didn't have the unit, but I have it now. So I thought I would shoot a video while I'm unpacking it, because I would not suspect there would be that many surprises along the way. And I might as well build a beginner's guide for those of you that have decided to go along and pick up the DJI Mini 4 Pro. So this is as fresh as it gets, so let's get it unpacked. So there we have it, the DJI Mini 4 Pro. And this is the Fly More combo, which basically means that it includes the remote as well. And this drone will be flying with the RC2, the latest iteration of the smart controller from DJI. Let's see what else we have in here. There is a set of ND filters, which is ND 16, 64 and 256. So when you're receiving a brand new unit, apart from the cellophane that is sort of wrapping in the box, there should be like a seal, like this green indicator, and that should not be broken. That's your insurance that this is a brand new unit. So let's just remove that. No way back. Now it's not a new unit anymore. So let's see what we have here in the box. So there's a, yeah, okay, there's a QR code in the lid here that will guide you along the way. But if it's been anything like it has been before, there will be basically a bag and nothing else in here. Everything that's included in the Fly More kit is sort of nicely wrapped into this bag. So the QR code is basically links for the DJI Fly app. It's for some video tutorials as well as a link to the user manual. The link for the DJI Fly app, you might not need that because that's already pre-installed on the controller. But the user manuals, they might be worth checking out. You will be surprised how many details you can actually pick up by reading the user manual. A proper unpacking of a drone requires coffee. So when I unzip the bag, it reveals all the goodies that are hidden inside. Let's start by the most exciting part, the drone. And this is nicely wrapped in plastic here. So when I remove the plastic shield here, you can see the drone. And it carries a lot of similarities, I would say, with the Air 3. We start by taking away the sticker here. Oh, there's always a lot of stickers on these drones. So see, it protects the propellers very nicely on the base as well as on the top. So if we remove that and put it to the side here, you can see the drone. You can see there's a nice gimbal cover in the front that protects the camera as well as the protruding lenses. If we remove that, you will see the camera. And the camera is, as I would expect, exactly identical with the Mini 3 Pro. So this one has, it's an equivalent 24mm and it has an aperture of 1.7, and it is the same 1/1.3 sensor that we know from the previous generation. Let's just remove more stickers here. There's this foam protector that will keep the gimbal in place during sort of a retail box transportation. There are these yellow ones here. Don't know why they're there, but they need to be removed. Otherwise you might have yellow stickers in your footage. Also in the back there is sort of like a label that goes on top of the battery compartment. Another really nice detail is that you can see here, you have the two protruding lenses in the front that protects the drone, basically more or less all the way around. But you also have two additional cameras here sitting on sort of the back of the drone here that are also protruding, that will help protect it towards the back. So I would assume this prop holder plays an important role to sort of protect these additional 2 lenses against getting scratched. So let's just try and open it. And this is still a very, very portable design. It's still a sub 249 gram drone. And it has something many of you have been asking about. It has the C0 label, or for the class identification label for sub 250 gram drones. So this is the first officially C0 marked drone that I ever hold in my hands. Not it's so important for us that lives here in under EU, flying under the EASA drone rules, because we have pretty light restrictions for drones below 250 grams. Even the legacy ones are not really a problem. So let's just inspect the drone and see what we have here. We have the 3-axis stabilized gimbal camera that we just described. It's capable of shooting 4K 60 FPS. It can do 48 megapixel photos by use of the quad-buyer technology. It can shoot true vertical video, as it's actually capable of twisting the whole sensor like this. It can twist the sensor like 90 degrees. You can do that from the remote. It has full obstacle avoidance, and that is done by using it by these 2 protruding lenses in the front, as well as these 2 lenses here on that are pointing towards the back of the drone. We have a battery compartment where we can squeeze these 2 sides here, and then we can pull out the battery, shove it in again, so it clicks. We have a port here that will sort of allow us to load the SD card. We have a USB-C port that will allow us to either update the firmware on the drone. It will also allow us to offload footage from the SD card through this port. In the base of the drone, we have a set of cameras that will help sort of position control the drone. We have some IR sensors and a light that will help it during landing. So if I grab the Mini 3 Pro, you can see they are basically identical. In size and also in weight, they are both sub 250 gram drones. Also, just for verification, if I take the battery from this one and plug it into the Mini 3, they are backward compatible. So if the drones are similar, what are you actually getting with this drone? You're of course getting the full obstacle avoidance of the drone. That's one of the key selling points with this one. You will gain access to cruise control, where you can simply just by the tap of a button make the drone continue a motion, something that's super practical, and I've covered in a separate video for the Air 3. You are getting access to waypoints, so that's at least something that will get you super excited about the Mini 4, hopefully. Further, this will be the second drone that DJI is releasing with the new updated smart controller. Let's take a look at that. It's tucked away here in the back. So if we open that, you would see the RC2. The RC2 is kind of remarkable by having a 6 antenna design, where 2 of them are external, that will improve the transmission between the drone and the remote. According to the specification, you can get up to 20 kilometers of range under FCC, which is not going to be the case here in Europe, and much further away than you are allowed to fly your drone. At least what that tells me, if you get longer range on paper, is that you are more likely to experience a more stable connection when you're flying the drone in closer proximity. This is something that has been a bit of a complaint with the first generation of the smart controller. Not the first, but the first generation of this type of smart controller. So what else comes with the Flymo combo? So there's the charging cradle here. It's basically a box that will allow you to, basically tuck in 3 batteries and charge them sequentially by a USB-C charger. There's no USB-C charger included with this kit, so that's something that you need to provide by yourself. Finally, top pouch here, we have, as expected, some cables, a silica thing that will make sure that everything is dry during transportation. There are some extra propellers, which you hopefully don't need because of the extra added protection of the Mini 4 Pro. There's a screwdriver in case you need to replace some of the props. And there's, sort of the traditional bunch of paper that you get with the drone. The back that's included is more or less the standard design that we know from the previous models. It has sort of 3 compartments, one for the drone, one for the remote, some batteries, and a top pouch where you can have some extra accessories. I'm missing the handle that was here on the original one. That made it very, very easy just to grab it and take it along. So this is basically what we have included in the Fly More combo. There's the drone by itself. There is like a prop holder. There are 2 USB-C cables. There's a gimbal protector. There's additional propellers. Screwdriver to mount those propellers. The new RC2 remote controller that is with these 2 external antennas. The charging cradle containing 2 additional batteries. It can hold 3, but one of them is mounted in the drone as it is right now. By the way, you can press on the side of this charging cradle to see the actual charge of the battery. And as it's custom when you receive a new DJI product, it's absolutely flat. There's no charge on any of the batteries, at least not enough for you to fire it up. So the first step that you need to do is to put everything up for charging. So I start by taking out the battery that's mounted in the drone. I plug that in the final slot here. And then I will unpack the cables here. You might notice this is not a pure USB-C to USB-C cable, but there's a reason for that, because you can basically plug that one into the charging hub, and then you can plug it into the remote. And then you have an additional, this is a true USB-C to USB-C cable. That one goes in the second slot of the charging cradle, and then you just hook this part into a plus 45 watt charger, and then everything will charge and be ready to go. Do know that it's not being charged in parallel, so it's a sequential sequence that will charge one battery at a time, and then at some point it will also charge the remote, so it will take a couple of hours the first time when you're going to charge everything. Let me just go out and plug everything into a charger and get everything charged, and we'll continue once that is done. So while the drone is charging, let's just unpack the ND filter kit, which you have to buy separately. That's also not included in the Fly More combo. And that's also locked in with a sort of this strip, which is again, you're guaranteed that this is a brand new product when you receive it and nobody has tampered with it. So it's normally just a little box here that is very easy to bring along when you're out filming. These are normally contained in a small black box here. And this filter kit includes ND 16, 64 and 256, which is a really nice selection when you go out filming. They are not polarized or anything. They are neutral density filters, so they are not adding or subtracting anything to your footage. But they are very useful if you're out flying in bright environments and you want to slow down that shutter. You can put this set of sunglasses in front of your camera, so your footage is going to be buttery smooth with the introduction of motion blur. Don't expect any miracles by using these filters, as it requires some degree of motion for you to see the effect of the motion blur. So now everything has been charging around 1 hour, so that should be enough to let us at least get started firing everything up. So you see here, there's a single charge on one of the batteries, and also the remote is fully charged. But before we fire everything up, we just want to mount an SD card. I have a 128 gigabyte SD card here laying around, so I will mount that in the back of the drone. Just shove it in like that until it clicks and it's seated firmly. And let's pick the battery. That was, yips. So we take this one. We take out one of the other ones. It's nice, they're backward compatible. So we plug it in like this. And we start by firing up the remote. The remote is really, really nice. It has 32 gigabyte of internal storage. So recordings, screen recordings and all sorts of stuff that we're gonna do here shortly, they'll be stored on the internal memory. So there's no need for mounting an extra SD card on the controller as it is right now. Let's mount the clips, mount the sticks. We just need to set up the controller first before we can activate the screen recording. So you would have to watch it from here like this. So software use, yes, yes, yes. We are in Denmark. So it needs to say Denmark, yes. Denmark, and then next. Need to put it on the Wi-Fi. Can't remember the Wi-Fi code. So now it's connecting to Wi-Fi. There might be a firmware update that we need to install. So press next. Time-wise, we are not in Beijing. We need to find something that's a little bit closer. Brussels, Amsterdam, Berlin. Yeah, let's do that. That's GMT +2, as it is here. Press next. Yes. And at this stage, you can log in with the already existing DJI account, or you can create a new one if this is your first drone. And next, you're going to activate the product. And now it says welcome. We press start. So we'll get like an instruction here. You get a short description of what's going on, what you can use the remote for. Also a very, very nice description of what sort of the LED indicator that is located here on the remote means. A little bit about adjust the antennas so you get the maximum sort of signal towards the drone. And now we can go to the DJI Fly app, which means that we can switch to a screen recording right now. So now we are at a position where we can pull down the menu from the top and we can actually start a screen recording that will record everything that goes on here on the screen. That will make it a little bit easier for you to tag along. But the process of the initial stuff with the drone is like setting it up. It's very, very intuitive. You just need to follow whatever is on the screen. Okay, we're ready. Let's fire up the drone. One short press, one long press. Traditional ding ding ding. So it says SD card detected as we just mounted a SD card in the drone. And it immediately jumps to the screen where you have to activate the drone. Okay, and there's a new firmware available, which is expected as this is a product that is not released at this moment of shooting this video. So there will be a lot of updates before the final version is ready for you guys. One important thing to notice, once you have done the activation, you have 48 hours to decide if you want to purchase the DJI Care Refresh or not. And the timer starts counting from the moment that you press activate. Just be aware of that in case that you consider buying this extra insurance that will help you replace the drone in case that something should happen to it. Going with the DJI Care Refresh, is that a good idea or not? That's basically up to you to decide. There's a few technical issues here. Let's just try and reboot everything. This is how it is when you are getting a brand new product that's maybe not 100% finalized. But let's just see how it goes. So now everything is updated. Let's fire up the drone again. I will enable the screen recorder. So you can see that everything is connecting and hopefully working. So yes, we have signal. And let's just go in under here, under about, just make sure that we have everything that we need here. Let's just make sure that there are no other firmware updates available at present time that we need to be aware of. So now we are basically ready to take the Mini 4 Pro for its maiden first flight. Let's start by prepping the bag by removing these stickers here. We don't want to look like complete newbies when we are going out flying. So let's get rid of those. And then we simply take the antennas and we fold them in position here and we take off the sticks. There might be ways that you can leave the sticks on when you tuck it in, but that's up for you. That's up to you to experiment with. So this one is ready. It goes in here. We are folding in the legs here on the drone, like this. We have this gimbal cover here that just goes in the front here, protecting the protruding lenses. And that was actually surprisingly easy to mount. So we have the prop holder here, and it goes on something like this. Over the top like this, and then it snaps in here on the side like this. So everything is nice and tightly secured. So that one goes in the back like this. You can turn it the other way around if you prefer that. And then we take our power bank here, or cradle with the extra batteries, and we tuck that in as well. I have the filters, they are just tucked away over here on this side, so they are very nicely positioned here. I have the propellers and the screwdriver for mounting the propellers here in the top. You simply just zip up the back, remove this plastic piece here, and then we're ready to go. Let's go outside.